besides the UN, there are official budget initiatives to give from the Western country to the Palestinian governments, mainly the Palestinian authorities, but also to Hamas. And they might not be targeted as terrorism, but as aid partidas, as aid packages, to put it some way, for the Palestinian governments. So that's also a huge amount of money, and we have to understand that many of the people, to understand this, we have to understand the employee structure in the Palestinian society. So in Gaza, for example, 60% of the people are poor. They don't work, and the few that work, they work in Israel. So 85% of the people that actually have a job in Gaza, their income comes from Israeli sources, because I mean that's a proof that they rather work in Israel, because ironically is the only country that gives jobs to Palestinian people in Gaza, normal jobs, because Egypt has his border completely closed for Palestinians working in Egypt, and neither Jordan, neither other neighboring countries want to give jobs to Palestinian people. But, well, my point was that there's not many people actually working. The few that are working, they receive their income from Israel. But the rest, I mean, there's not a lot of taxing in the Palestinian society. I mean, there is, but not a lot. So they cannot operate embassies around the world, enough this budget they need. And that's why they need foreign assistance. So they have huge contribution for Western governments that they use to politically operate. And that's some money they don't have to give back any type of accountability in response. So they get money from the European Union, from the US, from NGOs, and that money they can spend it on whatever they want, basically. And what's interesting in this slide, it's not only the quantity, and that again, besides via the UN and via multilateral organizations, then again, we see this pattern. So the budget given to Palestinian governments mainly come from the Western countries. Well, that's the first interesting fact. Nearly 80% of the budget comes from Western countries, governments and institutions. But the other interesting part is to see that Iran, Qatar, and Turkey, also declared enemies of the state of Israel, they give below 10% of the money labeled to budget, government budget. So the question is, okay, so we know that these three countries, Iran, Qatar, and Turkey, they give arms, and maybe they will give money outside the system to terrorist organizations, but through official channels, they don't give the majority of the money. So then where's their money going? And their money is going precisely to the West, to the academia in the West, and to Western press and Western institutions. And that's where this perverse cycle starts. So the Palestinian governments are getting their majority of their sourcing and their funds from multilateral organizations and from Western governments. And so the real enemies of the state of Israel, the usual enemies, the public enemies, Iran, Qatar, Turkey, they don't need to give money through official channels, and they rather finance this Western anti-Semitism, and that's where their full budget is going to, which we're going to see also.
Wait. Can you go back?
Yes.
So when you say nearly 80% of the budget comes from Western government and institutions, you're including in that the NGO money and the United Nations money, or are you just adding up the USA and the European Union?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different way of sourcing money. I mean, this is besides UNRWA, to put it some way. So, I mean, it is specifically built for the Palestinian people as the UNRWA, but besides giving money through the UN, there's direct money being injected from Western governments to the Palestinian governments.
Okay, so, but I just want to make clear one thing, that in this chart that you're showing us, the NGO money, that's also mostly European Union and US money.
Yes, that's a great.
And the United Nations money is also mostly European Union and USA money.
Definitely.
So the Western contribution to the terrorists is actually, so the relative size of the Western contribution versus the Muslim states is really staggering.
Definitely, definitely. Is the majority of the budget. So that's the paradox precisely. So why are these countries keep financing this conflict if it's clearly not going anywhere but to strengthen the terrorist groups? So yeah, of course, that's one of the questions people reading the book or hearing this presentation is going to ask. So wait a minute. So why are Western governments asking about and demanding a ceasefire and demanding the end of the conflict when they are the ones mainly perpetuating this system that clearly does not benefit directly the Palestinian civilians and only is benefiting the bureaucrats and the elites of this Palestinian conflict, and they're the ones keep fueling the system.